Oh shit, we are live. Five, 4, 3. Shit, we are live. 5, 4, 3. Shit, we are live.
'But here's the thing. Maybe.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and I stopped the episode at 1 hour mark. It's 3 hours and 9 minutes long, so it's like 2 hours from here. This is a test. I'm trying to see if I can do this. I don't know. I'm using a new software. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm trying to do it without using my camera. That way I could just drop a screen on here and it doesn't look as messy. And from here, this is a test. Anyway, so we're gonna watch the rest of this episode. I just dropped this morning at 10 and I've been so busy with everything. No excuses. So here we go. I'm in the chat. Let's go.
And right. But they haven't ever done it.
Right.
Yeah. You know?
Well,
they
there's a difference.
certainly are enriching uranium to a point where it's more than you need for power.
Right. So why are they doing that?
Right.
Right. And so I guess for Trump, the calculation is like, I'm in my last term. I might as well, roll the dice, go and deal with it now. Could end very badly, as we've discussed.
Yeah.
There is a way that it ends well. We will see what happens. I just honestly don't think anyone knows how it's going to go.
I don't think anyone knows. No. But how can you?
So many moving parts. It's like if I ask you who, Dana White just announced the UFC card for the White House, right?
Yeah.
Who's going to win, Justin Gaethje or Ilia Topuria? You're not going to say, this is what's going to happen.
Right. You don't know.
Because nobody knows.
Yeah.
Right. And this is like 100 times more complicated than that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, at least.
At least. Yeah.
Probably several thousand times more.
So it's a gamble, and you've got to think, if this goes badly, this is legacy defining for all involved. Mm-hmm. For all involved.
Yeah.
This will whatever you've done up to that point, it's like Blair and Bush. Mm-hmm. Tony Blair, people forget, in our country, Tony Blair was immensely popular. And then Iraq happened. And if you mention Tony Blair now, the only thing anyone remembers is Iraq.
So, for context, Tony Blair was one of the people. Tony Blair is a hero in Kosovo because he effectively stopped the large part of the reason the war in Kosovo ended was Tony Blair. I think there was something. I saw a story that people were naming their kids Tony Blair. Right.
They regret it now.
He was one of the central people in the Northern Ireland peace deal, bringing peace to Northern Ireland. For people of our age who grew up in the UK,
that was massive.
We never thought we'd see peace in Northern Ireland. Northern Ireland was a glorified civil war, and it had been for however long, right the way from the 60s, the 70s, the 80s. And he was one of those people instrumental in bringing peace to Northern Ireland. It was a miracle. It was a total miracle that happened, the Good Friday Agreement, and it was other people as well, like Mo Molan, etc. So you look at Blair, he was on a roll. He must have thought to himself, everything I do turns to gold here. I have achieved peace in Kosovo, peace in Northern Ireland. Why can't I invade Iraq and Afghanistan and install democracies and bring peace to the Middle East? I've done it to Northern Ireland. No one ever thought that could happen.
So this will, whichever way it goes, I think it will be defining for the people involved. If it goes well, this is like the biggest, Hail Mary touchdown in history in some ways. If it goes badly, that will define this. Certainly from an outside perspective, that's what I see. It's going to define the presidency. I mean, I don't know how you can argue with that, really. Can you?
No, I don't know how you can argue with it either. But that's what's so interesting about people that absolutely know how it's going to play out. You know, you don't. And then there's also the New York Times thing. I sent it to. Did they change that, Jamie, or did they take it down? I just sent it to you. So what does it say? So does New York Times still have it up?
That's from a day ago, it says.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crowd gathered on Monday. They didn't say which Monday.
Yeah.
It was a Monday. It was just 6 fucking years ago. Yeah, and then again, this is the problem where everything is polarized and politicized.
Well, I think your point about people wanting to believe something is so true.
Mm-hmm.
If whenever anything like this happens, you instantly get these camps, right? You've got the anti-war camp, you've got the pro-war camp, you've got the this camp, you've got the anti-Israel camp, you've got the pro-Israel camp, and everyone, like, information is no longer about information.
Right.
It's just fodder for your information war that you're fighting.
Exactly.
And then on top of that, and look, this is a kind of, I'm cutting my own balls off here because I make good money from posting stuff on X, right? But the monetization of content has made things different. And we can all see it in our feed, right?
Yeah.
You've seen this.
Yeah.
I mean, you must see it.
Yeah.
So now you have people who are basically, like, I go on Twitter, on X, to express my opinion and to engage in discussion with people who have a different opinion. That's what I do, right? But there are now lots and lots of people who go to work. They go to X to work.
Right.
And that's what they're doing. Now, the incentive structure of that is not conducive to a healthy debate.
Right.
At all. What you've got now is people going, okay, a thing has happened. What is my Venezuela got involved? It was Israel's fault. Okay, here's some content about that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's no longer authentic communication, unfortunately.
And that's just actual people doing it.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you've got AI on top of that.
Yeah.
And then
You
you've
got
got foreign
bots.
bot farms.
Yeah.
And foreign governments trying to influence this shit.
There's this one currently popular page that I follow that's clearly AI. I mean, you could just read it and tell that it's AI.
Right.
And it gets immense amounts of engagement. Heavily right-wing, like really well-written, you know, funny, you know, and you could, but
Funny.
not human.
Wow.
Not funny, real funny, but
Yeah.
funny, technically funny.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like insults that are technically funny,
Right.
but for whatever reason you don't digest it. It's like Olestra. Remember that stuff? I get that fat, but it just went right through you like diarrhea.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what it's like.
I had to step outside for a second to do some audio testing. Okay, it seems to be working.
Like insults that are technically funny, but for whatever reason you don't digest it. It's like Olestra. Remember that stuff?
I had to step outside for a second to do some audio testing. Okay, it seems to be working.
It's got no soul. There's no soul to it.
That's just one. I mean, how many of them exist, and how many state actors are running bot farms?
Yeah.
So we don't know what the fuck is going on at any given time.
No.
But it's the incentives that have become perverted because
Yeah.
it's no longer, like Konstantin said, about expressing opinion
Yeah.
or wanting to get involved in dialogue or debate. What you've got now is people, like you said, earning their livings. So if you need to pay your mortgage at the end of the month, or you need to pay a team, or you have a company, you're not going to put out a nuanced take. Why would you? It's going to get minimal engagement.
Right.
You're going to put out something that is going to trigger, that is going to be incendiary, that is going to drive engagement, that is going to get people upset or angry and agree with you, and therefore more likely to share. So that's the content you're going to put out, because that's the content that's going to make you the most dough.
I gotta get settled.
And then you have people that are pushing for
I'm gonna
this
go ahead
idea
and
that
get
no
some
one should be able to
marijuana and
post
coffee
online
going,
unless you're using your real
and
name.
go ahead and get my
show
thing
some
set up
sort of an
here.
ID.
We're gonna.
Which is
I'm gonna.
also
What I'm gonna
crazy.
start doing is
Yeah.
pausing
There's
it and
downsides
asking
to that,
questions
for
in the
sure, but I
chat,
also do
or asking
understand
out
why you're
loud.
saying it.
I understand too.
And
I just
ponder.
think it's
I'm just
super
talking to
silly.
myself
Stops
until
all
I
those
grow an
wars.
audience. I'm not really
And
worried
to
about
imagine you
people
are
listening to me. I'm
a
just
regime
working on my
critic in Iran,
voice
Yeah.
and my
and you're trying
tone,
to post
and
news
trying to
from
get my
Iran,
words
and,
and
you know,
reactions
there's
together.
definitely-
So this is just a
Well,
test.
you
You're
know, I
along
think
for the
Jordan
ride.
Peterson was actually one of the first people that suggested this thing, and I understand why, because the way it's like the windshield effect in your car. The way you and I behave face to face is not the way people will behave when they're sitting in their truck and someone cut them up in traffic.
Right.
Yeah.
And social media is we cut each other up in traffic and then sit there and go, fuck you, buddy, from like behind our screen.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Right? So I understand it.
But times a million.
Times a million,
Yeah.
right? And then you've got foreign bots and all this kind of
Yeah.
shit. And then taking away people's right to anonymity online, like fuck me, that the second, third, fourth order consequences of that
Yeah.
are pretty fucking crazy as well.
I found another picture of that area from what it says was yesterday.
This is how I make my
So
coffee.
I don't know that it was not real.
So this is from which website?
You know what it is. You know what it is.
I typed it into Perplexity and I'm clicking around on pictures to find out where they're coming from, one by one.
So is it possible that that the New York Times put the wrong footage?
At the same time, we're watching the live events. I have another monitor in the corner over here. We have Intel cams. It's currently 6:05 a.m. in the morning in Israel right now, and we did have some alerts coming through, but right now there's like a fog or some kind of overcast, and especially in southern Lebanon, there seems to be some kind of smoke or a mixture of both, which is giving a very low visibility in the air. Noticing in camera number 10 right now. But yeah, we're monitoring the Middle East at the same time. So yeah, I appreciate you being here. I'm gonna be getting better. Right? Gotta get rid of those. But thank you. I appreciate you being here. Whatever. No one's listening. Gotta stop saying
But it was a similar kind of protest in the same spot.
Yeah, that's my understanding.
This is a similar
that
photo.
makes more sense.
This is an AP source on this photo.
Okay, so all the New York Times did is get the wrong photo of a bunch of people gathered.
I'll note this one, which is at night, so it is definitely a different photo. This is from January.
This one is.
Yeah, but this is not the same photo that we looked at before.
Right, so the other one, though,
This one is from a day ago. And
Okay,
it looks very
that's-
similar.
well, that's very different right there. That's small.
Well, but it's the same angle of,
Right.
of this little pool thing or whatever is
Right. So what they did was just use the wrong footage, but a similar sort of a protest. So it was just an unfortunate error, not like reframing the narrative with propaganda.
That I'm not sure, because even these comments
So
were
right there.
saying this is like AI and it's fake photo, but that's why I was trying to find other sources of it. Not from
What does
the New York
Grok
Times.
have to say?
That I used our Perplexity to do it. And it's
Right,
like-
but I mean, on the post, usually, if someone posts something on, they say, Grok, is this true?
This
Is
is
this
from
footage
Instagram.
legit? Oh, that's it. Okay, it's on
and I
Instagram.
could find it on.
And so
on
Perplexity
Twitter.
says that there is a legitimate size protest that's like that.
asked if crowds gathered there yesterday. And
Says multiple reports indicate that thousands of people gathered in Central Square in Tehran yesterday. Shows
Level
support
up,
and
level up,
pledges
level up,
against
level
the
up.
Leader, how do you say his name?
Mujtaba Khomeini.
Mojtaba.
He's the son of the
Right.
guy they killed.
Right.
Yeah.
How many people have they killed so far? Like the.
You guys know about the new
I don't know, but it's probably
new
up to
leader?
low hundreds, I would imagine.
Because they had one guy last week that was the new guy, and they wiped
Oh, okay.
him almost
The chat's
immediately.
working.
I didn't tweet this, but when this guy was appointed, I wanted to
So
say.
we'll talk about what he's saying. He's very apocalyptic kind of mentality. All right, Sandy, well, put me on. I can be in your car as you drive home. So he's very apocalyptic mentality. So let me pull up some tweets about him. So I want to give you guys the news at the same time. So we do have, okay, hold on. Let me see if I can put this on the TV. On the. Oh, I think you can see me. Whatever, it's kind of blurry. We do have Iran. Iran in the last 24 hours appears to be having a significant increase in targeting of commercial shipping vessels and oil tankers in the Persian Gulf and around the Strait of Hormuz. So we do have. Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can put this on the TV. Oh no! Why am I talking? Why am I talking? Oh man! It's already out there. So, anyways, the Strait of Hormuz is picking up. There's lots of burning ships. There's lots going on.
There's family.
And this guy's very suicidal is what I was gonna say. I don't know. I can't pull that up right now. I have to have a studio. It's too bush league to show you the stuff I want to show you. But the point is he's very suicidal. He's very end of the world kind of guy. Okay? Think of him as an emu of his father.
Like, it's a bit full on.
Yeah. The problem is, you're right.
Yeah. I don't think he's going to last very long. Because he seems pretty hardline as well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they killed his dad.
Yeah. That doesn't tend to de-radicalize you very much.
You know, that's going to piss you off.
Yeah.
So Jamie put in, did the New York Times use an old photo for this event? Evidence so far suggests the New York Times used a recent photo for this week's gathering, not an old archive image, though many commenters have accused the opposite. Interesting. Instagram's own post of the square crowd, multiple Iranian users claim the image is fake or AI or from 2020, and several assert that it's not representative of real public sentiment. However, another Facebook thread referencing the same image states that it was taken by New York Times photographer Arash Kamushi on Monday, March 9th, 2026, which matches the article date and captions used by other outlets showing the same scene. See, this is the fog of confusion that exists on social media.
Yep.
And isn't it worrying that we can no longer tell what's real? We're already at that point.
Yeah.
And when you think of where we were last year, where you could really tell pretty much what was AI and what wasn't.
Right.
Now we're in the murky waters of is this, isn't it? It's going to come to a point pretty soon where everything is going to look like real life.
Well, as soon as AI can't detect it, that's when we're fucked, right? And then, so I talked to Mark Andreessen about this, and his recommendation was that everything should be on the blockchain. So you're going to be able to tell whether or not footage has been altered, what the chain of custody of this image has been, where it started,
I mean, it's terrifying, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Because you're going to think, is that going to be the end of journalism? Really?
Right.
Is that going to be almost... I think we're talking about this, and this is really, really important, but what's coming with AI is...
This is how I still make coffee.
Even the people you talk to in the field have no idea what's going to be the second, third, fourth order consequence.
Right.
I know. I mean, there's so much to be excited about with AI. And I think it blinds a lot of people to the not exciting parts of it.
Well, ultimately, if you just looked at what is it ultimately going to lead to? It's going to lead to something that's way smarter than us, and why would it listen to us anymore?
Well, I'm sure you've seen the stuff about how it will blackmail, right? So that, by definition, that means it has a survival instinct.
Yeah.
And if it has a survival instinct, by definition, it means there is a priority that it has, which is above human.
Yeah.
By definition. That's what a survival instinct means. It means you care more about yourself than you do about anyone else. Right? So if AI has a survival instinct, we are not going to be its number one priority.
Not only that, it doesn't seem to differentiate between using nuclear weapons or other weapons. And when they've done these war game simulations with AI, they prefer to use nuclear weapons.
Well, they're more effective, right?
This is the thing. They're not scared of this idea. Oh my God, you're just going to dust a city. They're like, oh, that's the way to do it.
It's the numbers on the chart, right?
Yeah.
Well, you want to get your goal accomplished. How does AI accomplish its goal with whatever the best tool available is? Oh, that's this bomb.
Right.
Yeah.
It's efficient.
Yeah.
You know, and then a mutual friend of ours, Melissa Chen, was telling me that there's one of the Chinese robotics companies is called Skynet.
Oh God.
And they released a robot called.
Isn't that scary? Like, man, my memory just goes, and I try to remember the next thing to say.
Seen the stuff about how he will blackmail you, right? So that, by definition, that means it has a survival instinct.
Yeah.
And if it has a survival instinct, by definition, it means there is a priority that it has, which is above humans.
Yeah.
By definition. That's what a survival instinct means. It means you care more about yourself than you do about anyone else. Right? So if AI has a survival instinct, we are not going to be its number one priority.
Not only that, it doesn't seem to differentiate between using nuclear weapons or other weapons. And when they've done these war game simulations with AI, they prefer to use nuclear weapons.
Well, they're more effective, right?
This is the thing. Like, they're not scared of this idea. Like, oh my God, you're just going to dust a city. They're like, oh, that's the way to do it.
It's the numbers on the chart, right?
Yeah.
Well, you want to get your goal accomplished. How does AI accomplish its goal with whatever the best tool available is? Oh, that's this bomb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's efficient.
Yeah.
You know, and then a mutual friend of ours, Melissa Chen, was telling me that there's one of the Chinese robotics companies is called Skynet.
Oh God.
And they released a robot called the T900, and I'm like, who says China? You know, the CCP don't have a sense of humor.
Get out.
That's why.
Is that actually true?
Yeah.
Well, you've seen the robots that they have now that will
Check out these robots. This is crazy. Check this out.
Sheets and make your bed and stuff, and do it remarkably human-like. There's a video that was released yesterday. Again, I don't know if it's real, but it looks real. It looks like an actual robot.
Again,
making
some of this stuff is
they've gotten the dexterity to the point where you can
don't take it as the truth. Take it as what's to come.
Focus away from some Tesla models so that they can reset up one of their factories to make these Optimus robots. That you're going to have them as home companions, and they're going to be able to do kitchen work for you and maybe even cook.
My acupuncturist, she's Chinese. She went back to China, and she was saying she stayed at the hotel, and like most of the services there is provided by robots. So like, she went to a room, ordered some food, 3 minutes, knock knock, and fucking robot delivering the food.
An actual humanoid-looking robot?
Self-preservation.
Because there's a restaurant out here that you go to, and when you order drinks, it comes by in a little.
I think it was more on the lines of.
You have to say accept.
They think. I think. Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. It's fun.
The thing of it, we think about AI is going to take over is kind of crazy, but that's what it is. Is everybody thinks that AI is going to find an easier way to take over and just destroy man all of a sudden, and that's where all the confusion is, all the movies and everything like that. Yeah, it's possible, but I mean, what's possible, right? We can throw a bunch of possibilities out there. But it's like, have you ever, like, I know what's public and what's not public, but I've been growing up with this ChatGPT stuff, and it's come a long way. Like, if you don't know anything about, like, how they used to have to you when you wanted to generate an image, you would go through Midjourney, you would have all these weird prompts, and it would come out, and it was bad. It was bad. And then, I mean, where we are today, even today, some of the stuff that I try to get to do, it's so fucking stupid. It's so stupid. And it's all large language learning. All right? That's the public stuff. The stuff that they have that's out there, that's privately, that's government and all that, that shit is bomb diggity. Believe me, there was a guy, let me show you. You guys want to see this video? There was a guy that he was able to take open source data, open source information, and put together all this war footage with satellites and air corridors and all this stuff, and this is all the stuff that he was able to do through a public, you know. The government has been using Anthropic and Claude to do all of its AI analyzing and everything. You know, now there's a falling out with Anthropic and Claude. I don't know if you guys, maybe I should just talk about stuff that I hear. Maybe you guys don't even, I don't know. So now there's a falling out with Anthropic and Claude to where the government has now, Trump has kicked out Anthropic and Claude and is going to move in specifically OpenAI. So their big riff was Claude had some kind of like clause in their licensing or their ability to give free reign to the U.S. government and said it wouldn't allow surveillance on U.S. citizens, modify or unmanned drones or unmanned anonymous AI to make decisions on weapons, stuff like that. That Anthropic was like, no, this is immoral, but then the government was like, no, you need to let us do that because you can't give us guardrails. What are you, the government yourself? So anyways, Trump ended up getting rid of Anthropic, and now ChatGPT or OpenAI, who makes ChatGPT, is now going to be in the government, and it's going to have access to classified documents. I'm not saying that the public is going to have access to classified documents. I'm saying that ChatGPT's private model is going to, and that way they'll be able to assist the government. And let me show you this video. Let me show you this. What I'm saying is, look at what AI can actually do. Let me show you what AI can do when you talk about analyzing war and give me a breakdown of this and blah 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 that. Let me show you what AI can do.
Right, so a week ago, I built Worldview. Basically my personal geospatial command center with live open source intelligence all running in my browser. It was just a prototype, a fun weekend project, but
he did this on the weekend.
Crazy over it.
It's like being shared by all these people. Oh yeah, vibe coded Palantir. Like
then Saturday morning, the Iran strikes happen, and I'm sitting there watching the news, and I suddenly realize, holy crap, I'm sitting on the perfect infrastructure to actually monitor this.
Is the sound okay?
So while this was happening, I set loose an AI agent swarm to basically capture every open source signal that I could find before the cache is clear. And what I got back is a full 4D reconstruction of Operation Epic Fury. From the satellites flying over, to the first strike, to ships and planes getting rerouted, to the retaliatory response, it's all captured and replayable on a 3D globe. And I'm gonna break it down for you minute by minute, what actually happened, and show you some intel you're not gonna see anywhere else, unless you have a security clearance. Let's get into it. All right, welcome to Worldview.
See what he's saying by that? Unless you have a security clearance. Meaning, what he's about to show you is a little bit of what a person with a security clearance might be seeing on a bigger level. Like they have more access to information. They have more access to everything. This guy only has access to open source information. A lot of this stuff is 24 hours old because you can't put out live hot information. A lot of stuff is more accurate, but it's hard to decipher what's new because that's all by design.
Playback mode, and on the bottom you'll see we have the entire timeline of Operation Epic Fury.
Exactly. We're looking at playback mode. Remember that, playback mode, not actual live information.
Therein. I've got all sorts of data in here. We've got the satellites that are flying over orbit. We've got the commercial flights. We've got military flights. We've got GPS jamming, which are the red tiles over here. And if you zoom really in, we've even got maritime data of like boats and ships that are moving around. So let's talk about all of it. So the first thing you'll notice is that we've got a bunch of commercial flights down here, but we're seeing a sudden spike in GPS jamming. This is all derived from ADS-B data. And you'll see very quickly that starts getting pretty freaking spicy. Another really interesting view is to see what are the commercial and defense satellites that are flying over Iran right before the first strike happens. So we see the Pleiades Neo, Worldview Legion, Spot satellites, and you'll start seeing lines connect when they actually go over an area of interest. And it might be interesting for us to see what are some of these satellites. So let's look up Persona 3. Persona 3 is a class of Russian high-resolution military surveillance satellites. And what you'll find is this only escalates further. further. So we got Worldview, which is Maxar Vantor, commercial satellite imagery provider. We've got Gaofen 11. Let's look that one up real quick. So Gaofen 11 and 12 are Chinese high-resolution microwave remote sensing satellites. There's the Worldview constellation again, Worldview Legion. There we got Gaofen 12, the Chinese satellite going over Iran. Directly over the point of interest. We got Capella and Gaofen. So Capella is a synthetic aperture radar satellite. The thing that was used to like map the stuff below the pyramids that's been going viral. And the cool thing about synthetic aperture radar is like it can see through clouds. So whether you have clouds or not, this thing will penetrate.
See, he's talking about that satellite that did the pyramid penetration that had the coils going down beneath it. See, a lot of this stuff is all connected.
Chinese Neo, a really nice European satellite, another Chinese satellite. And so as we get to 0 hour here with the first strike, you'll see a lot of countries are interested in what's going down. Of course, you got the Chinese, we got the Russians, and let's take a second to look at this satellite over here. USA 234 Topaz. Wonder what that is. Oh, that's right. Cool. Very cool. All right, so we have 0 hour strike on the nuclear base in Iran and the Topaz military spy satellites going over. And then right after, you have a flurry of activity. The Chinese and the Americans making sure they're imaging what it is they bombed. So my guess is what's happening is the initial satellites are documenting the initial positions, and then right after events start escalating, you've got other satellites imaging what happened after the fact. So what you'll notice is other events pop up on the map. They're typically very closely aligned with satellites flying over. And there we go, Tehran's in internet blackout. But the satellites fly over Iran just continues, especially as you see strikes in other parts of the country. And by the way, this doesn't include all the other spy satellites because a few of them just aren't tracked, or we only have the last known position for when, you know, open source folks are actually doing the tracking. And then as all the strikes complete, we get a completely new suite. We got the spy satellites going over, we got the commercial satellites, all of them. And by the way, like 90% of the business of most of these commercial satellite providers is the US government. And then it's like companies like Google, Apple, and Microsoft for maps and things like this. So very cool. I haven't seen anyone else really correlate satellite flyovers with these type of global events, which makes a ton of sense, right? Like, what are the areas of interest that are being imaged? And what does that tell us about the various sites? So another interesting thing that you'll notice here is, like, obviously we get a bunch of commercial flights, but as GPS jamming intensifies and we get closer towards 0 hour, notice how a bunch of these flights start redirecting. They're just going straight right, like, I'm getting the hell.
A lot of this makes sense to me, so I don't talk. I'm just talking in my head. But if you have any questions, just ask, because it all locks in for me, and it's just I don't have a desire to say something out loud because I have no trigger. If I have a trigger, I'll be able to help.
Dodge, I ain't going that way. But yet there are a few brave ones that trudge on. Let's see which ones those are. Let's see, we got THY 631 and VIR 354. And okay, this is, now we got Tehran in a freaking blackout. And you've still got a bunch of these flights that are stuck in the middle of this all. And these flights that are continuing, they're going full Leroy Jenkins. And this one is Turkish Airlines.
Leroy Jenkins!
Which kind of makes sense, right? Like, there's a bunch of commercial air traffic and stuff going on over here. But yeah, imagine being on these flights as shit's going down. Oh my God, that has to be absolutely crazy. And meanwhile, all these other flights that we saw that are getting the hell out of Dodge are just happy to be out just in the nick of time before Iran is declared a no-fly zone. Now let's take a look at the various airspaces getting shut down after the first strike happens. Very quickly, you'll see that as soon as Iran's a no-fly zone, Iraq is right next to it, right? Like, they're the next to go down. They're like, holy shit, get the hell out of Dodge. This is about to go crazy. And you'll see Iraq pop up over here. So their airspace is largely cleared out. And then the other Gulf countries are going to follow suit. So you'll see right as we get to about here, Kuwait closes down its airspace. These are Iran's retaliatory strikes, right? So the US has air bases all over the place, right? Including in Bahrain and Qatar. And you'll see they're going to get targeted next by the Iranis. So there we go. That's the 5th Fleet. That's a military base run by the US. That got hit. You get Al Udeid, that was hit as well. And with some of the air defense systems, you've got civilian bleed over, right? Like basically crap falling out of the sky in civilian zones. So as all the airspaces are all shut down, and then Kuwait gets hit. Now this part of the world has some of the busiest commercial air traffic, and you will see a cascading effect as these no-fly zones pop up, right? So Tehran's down at this point, as we mentioned.
Oh, we have a launch from Iran coming in.
Down. Another interesting thing to see is if we go back to the start, and now I give you a much faster time lapse, basically 15 minutes per second, you can notice
The 6-minute
how
countdown.
robust the commercial air traffic is between this region, right? This is one of the busiest areas in the world, and you'll see the
6-minute
moment that all
countdown.
these no-fly zones come up, this commercial traffic is going to completely thin out. So look at this, all completely gone. And what's funny is, like, if I zoom in and actually slow things down, you can see a bunch of planes go into this like holding formation before they figure out where the hell are they supposed to actually go. It's kind of crazy. It's like, what do we do? What do we do? Oh my God. And then all the airspaces start shutting down. They're like, oh shit, the UAE shut down. Where do we go now? And so they like creep right below between these like no-fly zones and pop out over here. By the way, a bunch of these yellow planes are military planes. So another interesting thing to observe is after the air traffic completely clears out, what about maritime trade, right? Like, this is the Gulf region. What happened is essentially the Strait of Hormuz got closed down. Essentially, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard was like, yo, this is basically closed. Get the hell out of here. There were reports of some ships being attacked. And by the way, as all these other tankers are clearing out, this is the tanker that actually got hit. Now, what's crazy is if I come out to about this zoom low.
What misinformation are you specifically talking about? You're right, there is. Are you saying that the misinformation or the information that you heard based on what you're seeing now you're calling the information that you heard misinformation? Or you're just saying a general statement that misinformation is out there? I don't understand.
And just play everything at a much faster clip, like a time lapse, if you will. Being able to see the GPS jamming intensify. You've got commercial traffic that's like trying to make its way in and immediately starts getting the hell out of Dodge. You've got all the military and commercial satellites that are trying to image the area of interest that's about to get totally bombed. And then suddenly back to back with actual OSINT data, like things happening on the ground, completely correlated on a 3D globe, seeing all the strikes pan out. Then you go down and see like
just
the
in
Gulf
general,
space
you
completely
just
get
want to put
cleared
that out there.
And then
You're
you get
right.
to see the
You're not
cascading
wrong.
impact of all the other countries around close their airspace.
All right.
Retaliatory strikes.
There
airspace
are
over
whales
here
in the
getting closed
ocean.
down. And then of course when we zoom in, we've got the Gulf of Hormuz over here and the closures that happen. I mean, it's kind of crazy that I'm able to put this stuff together. It's really cool to see folks who worked at Lockheed Martin and DARPA talk about this. And I mean, like, I would echo this too. Like, I spent so many years working on Google Maps, Google Earth, and a bunch of AR 3D platform stuff with so many talented engineers. And I cannot tell you how insane it is that I was able to do this over a freaking weekend just by myself. And it's interesting, right? Like, when I shared my worldview project with the world last week, the response was phenomenal. But it was interesting. Like, a lot of people were just saying like Palantir is cooked. And it was to the point where like the Palantir co-founder felt compelled to respond, noting his company's edge and secure large-scale defense integration.
Yeah, Palantir is what the military uses to analyze, I believe. You look that up. But let's go ahead and pull up the Intel cams. We're 3 minutes and 44 seconds out. Yeah, it's just like I thought your comment was something to what we were watching. It's just like the price of tea in China. It's just weird statement to make, as if it pertained to the video. Three minutes. Like I said earlier, you see that fog up there in camera 10? That's that camera right there. See if I can get the 10 in there. Probably not. It's a little contrast. There's a 10 in the top left-hand corner. Right there. You see it in southern Lebanon. It's like a smoke. Probably from all the bombings. But there is seeming to be an overlay of overcast throughout all the cameras. We should be hearing sirens sometime soon. Let me look at the map. Mainly the Haifa area. I know you really don't need to see that, but understand that that's what it's saying. So the Haifa camera. So you do have a Haifa camera right in the middle, right there is the Haifa camera. Will a laser work? No, it absorbs. No laser. Oh, a laser. Number 7, camera number 7, right there. This one right here is the Haifa camera. Oh, there's another Haifa camera. Camera number 11's a Haifa camera, right next to 7. So we have 2 Haifa cameras. All right, 2 Haifa cameras. We're 1 minute out. Nothing seems to be changing as far as alerts go, or sirens, or any kind of activities other than the alert on the SoFar app. Which is a good sign, because it means, okay, now I'm getting alerts on my phone. Here we go. Listen to these. Turn them off. I turned them off on my watch. There they go. All right, now we got a more precise, a more narrowed down area of where these missiles might be coming into. More alerts coming in. If anybody knows about a Jordan camera, there's Jordan gets the alerts first, just by geographical location. I don't know of any Jordan cameras. This Intel camera is the best camera, the camera shot out there. I mean, you have, 8 cameras, just bam. So far, so good. Pull up the live chat. Sometimes the live chat will be a little helpful. Somebody said where? Camera 7 with sound. Yeah, camera 7 that's the sound. You can see the green audio moving up and down. That's camera 7's sound. No siren. No, there was no siren. There was no siren. Yeah, this is kind of odd. Sometimes in the 12-day war in 2025 in June, there were a lot of alarms, or false alarms, software issues. So I'm not saying this is one of them. I'm just giving you possibilities, because there doesn't seem to be any kind of intercepting or alarms going off. Somebody said drone alert in California. Drone alert in California. Somebody said nothing ever happens, yawn. Just don't worry. I still mind privacy. The sirens will deliberately turn off so the residents would not panic. Oh, they turn the sirens off deliberately so the residents don't panic? I think the residents are used to the sirens. Don't you think? I think they get used to that. At least I would be. I am pretty. Just listening to them. I mean, I go to the bathroom and it's like my phone's going bling, 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 People have no idea what the hell they're hearing. I would get, what I'm saying is if I was in country, I would be used to it. If I heard the siren, I think they're desensitized at this point. So far, nothing on X for an all clear or anything like that. Looking on X, we got Sky News Arabic reporting, Arabia reporting, Israeli army. We detected the launch of missiles from Iran, and defense systems are working to intercept the threat. So they are working to intercept the threat. So we got a really early warning. We got a really early warning just now. And now the Israeli army is putting out, we detected the launch of missiles from Iran. The launch of missiles, so there's more than one, minimum of 2, right? And the defense systems are working to intercept the threat. Okay. That's from Sky News Arabia. Go ahead and post that out. So it looks like we have a early warning. That's why, which is great for the rest of the, populace, that they can go about their business and their military is taking care of them. That's what the military is for. That's what it's for. And we have breaking news that B&O is reporting $100 a barrel, the price of oil is back up to. $100 after Iran has attacked another ship in the Strait of Hormuz, therefore making the fear of going to the Strait of Hormuz more and more apparent as the price of oil goes up. I know the other day it went up to 114, then it went back down to, I believe, 84 or something like that the next day, then now it's back up here. Look, the Strait of Hormuz is very important because it is a very huge artery for oil for the Asian countries like China, India, all those places, and we can look all that up. But it's very important, and when you shut off the oil to a lot of these countries, you have a lot of stir because they need that oil to survive. They need it. I don't know if you knew the beginning of Pearl Harbor began when we cut off Japan's oil, and why Japan thought that they needed to do a strike on Pearl Harbor because they were getting their oil cut off by sanctions. We had put sanctions on Japan, and they had no choice but to do their Pearl Harbor attack. That's what threw us into World War II. Just like we're kind of cutting off China's oil. It's the same kind of situation. If we take away China's oil, that makes them a little timid. They depend on imported oil. China does not have their own oil industry. Oceanet Technical reports another container ship. 51 minutes ago, Oceanet Technical reports another container ship has been hit by Iran in the Persian Gulf off the coast of United Arab Emirates. The ship suffered a minor fire, full damage assessment impaired by darkness. So as dawn the soap appears, as dawn arises, the sun will give them a better investigation as to what happened. But let's be honest, without jumping to conclusions, it's looking like there's more attacks happening in the Strait of Hormuz, which is gonna just, people are not gonna use it. They're not gonna. Have you guys seen the picture of the guy just fucking looking back at the ship he was rescued from? Since this is taking forever, let me show you something.
On this, the March 11th, 2026 edition of What's
Look at this
Going
guy.
On with Shipping, it was a bad day in the Strait of Hormuz. I'm your host, Sal Mercogliano. Welcome to today's episode. So, a bad day in that a bulk carrier, Thailand flagged outbound, was struck by an unmanned surface vessel. 3 crew members reported missing. We had 2 other ships in the Persian Gulf also hit. One of them is Chinese owned. So much for China having a clear run through the area. We're going to update you on everything going on in and around the Strait of Hormuz, the Persian Gulf, and the Gulf of Oman. If you're new to the channel, hey, take a moment, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell so you'll be alerted about new videos as they come out. All right, we start with the Joint Maritime Information Center update. Everything still remains critical in this area. Of particular note, although persistent open source reporting continues to speculate about possible naval mining, there remains no confirmed evidence of mine deployment or detonation. Imagery associated with the attack on the Mori Nari, that's the ship you just saw, suggests a severe explosive event at or near the waterline. However, the precise attack mechanism remains unconfirmed. It has all the likings and characteristics of an unmanned surface vessel. Recent incidents patterns suggest a campaign focused on operational disruption and the creation of uncertainty across maritime traffic flows. All right, so we're going to take a look at some of the key aspects in this report. As always, I'll have the report linked in below so that you can take a look at it. So here are the 3 vessels that were attacked within the past 24 hours. ONE Majesty, a container ship laden, was underway and had departed in the incident area. It was hit by a projectile. Minor damage to the ships about 50 nautical miles northwest of Dubai. The crew is safe. The Mori Nari, we're going to look at some images of that in a second. That's that bulk carrier in ballast. The crew abandoned it, and there's support ongoing. Severe hull damage to the vessel, including an engine room fire. And the Star Gwyneth, this is a bulker in ballast. This is that Chinese-owned vessel. Hull damage reported following a strike by an unknown projectile. Crew is safe, and the vessel remains afloat, also 70 miles northwest of Dubai. We have this story of multiple fuel storage tanks at the port of Salalah in Oman were struck by uncrewed aerial systems. We have some very dramatic imagery of that. So the average historical transits through the Strait of Hormuz on a daily basis is 138. On 4 March, we were at 2. 5 and 6 March at 4. 7, 8, and 9 March, just 1. And then on 10 March, we spiked up a bit here with 7. So the chart on the left shows you the frequency of attacks with high percentage of attacks taking place in and around the Strait. But you will see that attacks have taken all the way up the Persian Gulf to right off the coast of Kuwait, along the coast of Saudi Arabia, around the major oil terminals at Ras Tanura and El Jebel, and then even out into the Gulf of Oman. And in particularly, we're still seeing massive amounts of spoofing in AIS throughout this region. It's causing a lot of distortion when you go look at ships on systems like marine traffic. So we have this statement on war risk insurance. The Joint War Committee expansion of the listed areas across the Arabian Gulf, Gulf of Oman, adjacent waters continues to trigger voyage declarations and additional premium negotiations under most hull war policies. While commercial war risk insurance remains available, premiums have increased significantly and underwriting posture has tightened. I will say this, that in the first week, the issue preventing the ships from sailing was war risk insurance. That has been largely resolved. Through the commercial means, through additional supplement being provided by the U.S. government, there is war risk insurance out there. What is keeping the ships locked in place right now is not physical insecurity, physical meaning money. What we mean is physical, as is the physical nature of the ship. And that is security in terms of attacks. That's what's keeping the ships locked in right now. So this is the outlook over the next 24, 28 hours. Everything remains critical. Offshore energy infrastructure and select port areas remain exposed. JITMIC assesses the most credible risks to include UAV and missile activity, follow-on incidents, standoff or sabotage style of attacks, global navigation system interference, AIS anomalies, and communication disruption. The Strait of Hormuz traffic is expected to remain heavily suppressed in the near term. Any vessel transiting the strait does so at its own risk. We then have these charts showing you the average of vessel transits through the area going back to
Look at that
January
drop off.
1st. Obviously, you can see where
Look at that drop
around
off.
February 28th, we have that drop off, and now barely vessels going through the Strait of Hormuz. And while we haven't talked about our favorite place on the planet too much, the Bab el Mandab, you do see a drop-off here of vessel transits through the area, although we may see a spike in numbers here, as you'll see later on in the report. So the big issue, as we've talked about, is insurance has been largely settled, although there's still insurance being dealt with out there. It's not 100% by any means. But the next issue is the escort issue, and we're getting a lot of issues with that, as you'll see here. This Reuters story by Jonathan Saul over at G-Captain. Behind closed doors, the U.S. Navy says Hormuz escorts are too dangerous for now. So that Navy's assessment spelled continued disruptions to the Middle East oil exports and reflect a divergence from President Donald Trump's statements that the U.S. is prepared to provide naval escorts whenever needed to restart regular shipment along the key waterway. Now, the U.S. Navy has held regular briefings with shipping and oil industry counterparts and has said during those briefings it is unable to provide escorts for the time being, 3 shipping industry sources familiar with the matter said. Now, Saudi Arabia's Aramco, the world's top oil exporter, said on Tuesday there would be catastrophic consequences for the world's oil market if the war in Iran continues to disrupt shipping in the Strait of Hormuz. Goes on here, neither France, the United States, an international coalition, or anybody is in a position to secure the Strait of Hormuz. That's according to Adel Bakawan.
In the chat, I just dropped the update to the latest Strait of Hormuz information. So if you wanted to get an update on what's going on, there's a dashboard in there. You can go ahead and take a look at the ships that have been hit and whatnot.
Stationed in the Arabian Gulf, has about 8 Arleigh Burke-class destroyers and 3 littoral combat ships with it. But
we're going to go ahead and go back to the episode we were watching. But yeah, the Strait of Hormuz is not looking good, and it's not going to be a good day tomorrow.
Called Skynet, I don't believe. But
Oh, sorry, then that was wrong.
No, this has been fact-checked.
Yeah,
bro.
I can't tell what this is.
T800.
T800, they
Yeah,
The
T900
T900
is
in
coming.
development.
Yeah.
Look what it looks like.
It's
though.
like in a weird movie here, so it
Wow.
could be for a movie and we're misunderstanding.
That
what
looks
this is.
fake.
Yeah, that looks fake. Right
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
The robot itself looks fake.
That's why it's like hearing.
Yeah,
coming
the
from
movement
it,
doesn't look.
This doesn't seem.
Well, it's in that. First of all, I don't like how it's lit. I don't like how this room is lit. I feel like
this
you
is
would,
for a film.
Yeah.
you know,
That's not
that's a
real.
bullshit ass
Yeah, I
fucking
think
kid.
that's a mistake.
Joe's like, this is my area of expertise. No way.
I got to go look for the cat. She
Yeah.
opened the door, she took off,
Like,
so...
the bag went flying like it's on a rail. You know, it's not even stationary because you don't want to really see how hard it can
Just
kick.
look at this Forbes article, but it says
Unlock
you can buy it for
agility.
40 grand.
Wow,
But I don't.
right now.
No, I don't. This might be bullshit.
You look at it. It's got the Iron Man thing in the center of its
Yeah.
chest. That's pretty dope. Hmm.
The Arnold
I would
Schwarzenegger.
just say Engine AI makes it just right away sound like it's a AI content company, not a
Right.
robot company.
Well, that video looked very AI-like. It didn't. There's something about it. You know, your brain recognizes miniature cars. You ever see like a miniature car, like, you know they have those like really well done miniature cars that people like to collect.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And it's like a tiny Porsche.
Found her with
Like,
another
your
cat
brain
outside.
knows. Like your brain looks at it and
Yeah.
goes, "There's something wrong here.
Hey,
This
girl."
is not real."
Yeah.
That's how I felt
Yeah,
looking
yeah,
at
yeah.
that robot. Like
Yeah.
my brain was like,
Mm.
that's not a real thing.
Got foxtails in my socks at
Yeah.
10
But it's
o'clock
gonna
at
come
night.
to a point where it's
'Cause
like,
of you.
is that real?
Fuck.
Oh yeah, I mean it's probably ChatGPT 5 can already probably do it better than that. You know, we don't know what the newest iterations of these things are, and they're improving radically all the time.
There's no. I just don't believe it. The beginning of this video says there's no
Duck's fake.
CGI, which I don't know. I don't know why we have to believe that.
Bro, this looks fake to me.
Shit, I know.
This looks fake to me. That does not look real.
There's articles all over saying it's real, but it doesn't look real at all.
Yeah, but I mean, why wouldn't you have it more well lit? Like if I was gonna do something like this, I would have spotlights on it and people next to it so I could examine their shadows and it's this is weird.
Yeah, this is like a.
Looks fake.
Why would you have like?
Why is the light coming through the corner of the window like that?
Also, why would you make a robot that does like martial
Karate.
arts?
Just shoot people, bro.
Right.
Yeah. Why would you throw that bullshit kick too? That's a 360 roundhouse kick that almost never lands. That's really hard to pull off.
Yeah, but you're saying that as a human. Maybe as an AI, you land it every
it's
time.
slow.
But surely, if you're a robot, you just grab their neck with your metal claw and crush it. I mean, you're
just run after them and headbutt them and knock them unconscious.
Right.
Your head's made out of metal.
Right.
The whole thing is crazy. Like, why would you be throwing wheel kicks? Like
Would you
even if you like went over UFC fights and say like, what's the most effective techniques that work most of the time? Why would you program in 360 roundhouse kicks? That fucking never comes up.
Yeah, I mean it does look cool though.
Yeah, but I can think of one fight. Yair Rodriguez pulled it off on BJ Penn. But there was BJ Penn towards the latter end of his career, Yair Rodriguez in his peak, and Yair is exceptionally talented. He's kind of a freak with his kicks. But it's almost like he was showing off. He already had BJ really hurt, and he just threw a 360 roundhouse kick and hit him in the face. It was crazy. But this thing is doing that just to show you it does martial arts. Why would you need martial arts? Like you should have like 1,000 bullets on you. Just like gun everybody down with your fingertips.
Robocop.
Yeah. Why wouldn't you turn your like Iron Man does? Shoot fire out of your palms.
The future's bright, Joe.
Well, we're also kind of being bullshitted, I think.
Right.
I mean, is there a way to analyze that video?
No, I'm going. This rabbit hole is strange. This is a website that they've made that says you can buy it. When you click on buy now, it takes you somewhere else, and I think that's the first signal.
And it steals your IP address.
Yeah, that's where I'm like, I'm not clicking.
Gets all your
in.
credit card information.
But it's a fully made website. They have a team. They got a CEO. They've got other things. It doesn't seem. This all looks fake to me. Like it's for a movie. Like this is like.
Right. Maybe it is. Maybe this is like a setup for a movie.
It is.
Being fucked with. Right.
Well, we're giving them a lot of free advertising.
For sure.
That's okay. Just even Googling it, there's lots of articles about it. People are talking about it like it's real and discussing it like it's real. No one that I've even seen is like, this is obviously fake. This is obviously AI.
I like how it's got the Cylon eyes.
Yeah.
By your command.
Yeah.
We've got other products here for sale, which those fit in line with other robots.
Whoa, click on that.
I don't know what the fuck this is.
Bro, that's the guy from Monsters, Inc.
Yeah.
Mike Wazowski.
It's a well-made website. It looks nice.
Interesting.
That one gives you a blowjob.
But it just seems like a fun project someone made.
Yeah.
Stay tuned for this one. You can't buy this yet.
Yeah. Give it 2 years.
What about the dog?
What about the guy
dog?
with got legs? That one's weird. What's that? It's like, I don't want him touching me.
What the fuck?
Run
No
around the
arms?
house and do some stuff.
Yeah.
Fully expandable bipedal robot.
I don't know why we make them look like humans. Why don't we just make them look efficient?
You can already see the website at the bottom. It doesn't look.
Humans are the
www.cs
most efficient.
China website.
Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm.
Not this
Blank.
It's loading.
Okay.
There we
It's
go.
in Chinese.
See it take somewhere else. Now it's like, what is that?
Oh.
It's definitely not a buy now.
Maybe that red thing is.
No, it's just like this is. I think
Register your interest, maybe?
like a back end website.
Yeah.
Interesting.
They just didn't click the right link
Right.
here because it
Yeah.
opened up a different.
I don't think this is right.
But this is like
Interesting.
whatever this is very. They did it well.
Interesting.
I'm here if you want to chat.
That is.
I'm just
College
quiet.
Making a project.
I'm quiet because I don't want to be talking to myself and then people put me in the mental institution. I only speak when I need to speak.
That's the Forbes article.
Anybody can make
Yeah.
a Forbes article. That's kind of
It's a
another.
What?
Yeah, not anybody, but like we can make Forbes articles that say all sorts of stuff. It's not coming from Forbes editorial team per se.
But you could publish on Forbes?
I don't want to speak out of turn specifically, but like I've seen there's so many like reviews for video games that pop up like every single day. That's like you can be a contributor, I believe is what it would be. Not like
Oh, and maybe they have a bad editorial team, and you can sneak this through and just pretend that there really is. That would be a great prank to pull.
Yeah.
That's a great hoax.
Did you follow the Malt Book thing?
No.
I mean, did you follow Malt Book?
yeah. I just actually saw that. I think Meta just bought it today.
Meta just bought it today, so
I
this
thought
is.
it was fake.
Was that fake as well?
No, I don't know why they would have bought
How
it.
weird is it we have to worry about everything being
France is
fake
just
now?
here spreading fake news of the whole
No,
podcast.
I didn't. I was just very cynical about it because the idea of it sounds right, but like that actual bots are making a social network to do stuff and talk about us and whatever kind of sounds too far.
Bullshit.
Into sci-fi.
So this is the social network for AI agents.
Yeah.
I have heard about this.
But they complain about humans. Is that right?
Yeah.
These fuckers are.
Yeah. Yeah, and apparently
Oh
they created
God.
their own language. And
Oh
they
my
talked
God.
amongst themselves so that we wouldn't be able to access and see what they were talking about.
Yeah, that's really fun. Did you see when they got all the AI agents to talk to each other and started using Sanskrit?
No.
Yeah. They got these different large language models to communicate with each other, and they eventually broke out into Sanskrit.
Wow.
I've never seen evidence of. He always talks about that. I've never seen evidence of that.
Maybe these guys in Iran are right. Like, maybe this is the apocalypse. Maybe this is how it comes about. Maybe we're looking at each other, and we're going to bring about these motherfuckers. And that's what's really going to be the end of civilization.
Yeah, and places like Iran is the only place you're going to be able to hide as a human, because it's the one place that hasn't adopted all this shit, right?
Yeah, maybe Afghanistan's the spot to go.
Yeah,
Just live like a goat herder.
Yeah, we're going to be like Bin Laden, just living in a cave.
Yeah.
I mean, you're being very negative, boys. There's another option.
What's
There's
that?
another option. There's another option.
What's the other option?
We all become Amish.
Oh, okay. But then we're run by AI.
Yeah.
We're Amish and we live in our little communities, but we have no say on how the world works. So this is the real fear, is that we're no longer the apex intelligence of the planet.
Yep.
And that seems to already be the case.
Yeah.
This is for the Forbes thing I was talking about. The article we had, I don't think was specifically this, but I've seen many articles like this where people can submit
One-off original articles to the opinion section, particularly for topics related to business, tech, or or policy, by emailing pitches to ideas@forbes.com. So, yeah, so if you're a person on the other end just looking for clicks, that would be a good one. You see it, oh, this is a really well-written article. Let's go to the website. Website looks legit. Oh, they're throwing wheel kicks. I'm in.
Yeah. I mean,
motherfuckers.
but again, the point being made again is like, it's such a terrifying world where you don't know if what you're seeing is true. You don't know if what you're reading is accurate.
Right.
To the point where you can't help if that's the case. The world you live in, continually feeding things that may or may not be true or altered or doctored. Wouldn't that just put you in a state of paranoia after a while?
Wouldn't that?
100%.
Wouldn't that?
Now
Wouldn't
imagine
that?
if you are in the Middle East and you bust out your cell phone because a fiery cloud emerges and Jesus is on a white horse.
No one's gonna believe
film
you.
it, and you post it online. Who's gonna believe it? Right? This is the real problem with Jesus returning. If he returned now, no one would buy it.
No one would buy it.
Like, imagine Jesus is a real person or a real God who's the Son of God who's going to come back. He really is. It's real. It's all real. It's happening at the same time where you have no idea what's real. And it all converges instantaneously with the rise of sentient, artificial, general superintelligence that has complete autonomy. That's running all the resources, everything, anything that's attached to a computer, which is basically
Crazy.
everything. All of our power, all of our, everything. Fill in the blank. Everything's run by computers. And now AI has control of everything. And no longer wants to listen to human beings. And Jesus returns. Yeah. I mean, that might be what everybody's talking about when they're talking about Armageddon, when they're talking about the end of civilization. It might be this new thing that we're creating.
Well, if that happens, I'll be rooting for Jesus to return. Please, Jesus. I'm not sure I believe in you, but please come back.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. But this is, maybe a historical Jesus existed at one point in time, and maybe what they're talking about is like their version of the cycles of humanity that other religions have talked about. Is that, especially when you deal with technology and power and civilization, that things get to a point where they always go sideways, and then there's dark times, and then society, like the yugas.
What are the yugas?
The yugas are the cycles of civilization that, I don't want to fuck this up, so let's define we're in the middle of Kali Yuga, which is the age of confusion. And
Feels like it.
Yeah. I mean, it's odd how accurate these cycles are when you look at historical
I didn't know
events
about
and,
these till right now.
Things were like, X amount of thousands
Let's see what they're
years ago.
talking about.
Hindu cosmology.
Yes. Vast cosmic ages in Hindu cosmology describe recurring cycles in the moral and spiritual state of the world. So the four yugas are Satya Yuga, the first and most righteous age, often called the Golden Age, marked by truth, virtue, and maximum dharma, which is moral order. Treta Yuga, the second age, dharma declines somewhat. Virtue still predominates.
All right, let's
but
go back.
imbalance
Let's go back
begins.
to these yogas or whatever he was talking about.
Jesus existed at one point in time, and maybe what they're talking about is like their version of the cycles of humanity that other religions have talked about. Is that especially when you deal with technology and power and civilization, that things get to a point where they always go sideways, and then there's dark times, and then society, like the yugas. Like
Yugas.
What are the yugas?
The yugas are the cycles of civilization that I don't want to fuck this up, so let's define we're in the middle of Kali Yuga.
Kali Yuga, which means
the
what?
Age of confusion.
Age of confusion.
And
Feels like it.
Yeah. I mean, it's odd how accurate these cycles are when you look at historical events and like what things were like, X amount of thousands of years ago.
Hindu cosmology.
Yes. Vast cosmic ages in Hindu cosmology describe recurring cycles in the moral and spiritual state of the world. So the four yugas are Satya Yuga, the first and most righteous age, often called the Golden Age, marked by truth,
Golden
virtue,
Age,
and maximum dharma, which is moral order. Treta Yuga, the second age, dharma declines somewhat. Virtue still predominates, but imbalance begins. How do you say that word? Dwapara Yoga, the third age, with further decline in righteousness and an increase in conflict, suffering, and confusion, and then Kali Yuga, the fourth and darkest age, characterized by moral decay, ignorance, and materialism, with dharma at its weakness.
Wow.
Okay, that's us.
Yeah.
Wow.
Treats these yugas as repeating cycles of creation, growth, decline, and destruction, rather than one-time historical periods. Yeah, very interesting, right?
Do you know, it's even more noticeable for us coming to America, I think, because, we love America, but one of the things that really stands out is how materialistic people are and how much money is like the number one thing for everything now.
Yeah.
I find that really, it stands out to me.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that, and I find it weird in our game, especially like in media and podcasting, whatever, like, because the way we think about what we do is we're trying to produce content that's actually of value to people, but we also meet a lot of people for whom it's like a business. It's like selling widgets. It's the same.
Yeah.
How do you how do you maximize your returns on your investment?
Right.
And that to me is it shows you that something is slightly off.
Yeah, it is. It's and you also get a lot of. You get people that are making content just based only on the perceived popularity of that content, not whether or not they are really interested in having these conversations. And you feel it when you're talking to these people, or when you're listening to these people talk to each other, rather. Yeah, the clickbait stuff, a lot of celebrity stuff. Bert Kreischer went on Shannon Sharp's podcast, and he said they basically have like a list of like controversial things they could talk about, and subjects they think are going to get the most amount of traction. And those are the questions that he asked. You just ask questions off of the list.
But from a business point of view, if you take morality out of it, that's a smart thing to do, Joe.
Is it though? Because like what's the most popular show? There's this one. And why is this one the most popular? Because I don't do that at all.
But agreed, but you're sort of an outlier in that. There's people who make very, very, very good living interviewing those types of people, having that type of approach, and creating that type of content.
I know, but I think in the end you bite off your nose to spite your face, because I think that you lose
Taking you to X right now. Take a look at this video of this Thai crew being rescued as they look back at their ship.
Bite off your nose to spite your face, because I think that you lose
So what we have here is Thai sailors float in a lifeboat as they watch their ship burn after Iranian USV strikes the Strait of Hormuz. As I said earlier, the sun is coming up, dawn has passed, and look at the overcast there, so it's gonna be hard to have a proper investigation. Look at that. Hope you guys can see that. What's going on in the Strait of Hormuz right now? I might as well just stay awake all night, right? Let's get the, actually, we're going to go ahead and jump into, I missed the top of the hour, so I'm going to go ahead and get into a news update from Al Jazeera, because they're live 24/7, and they'll have the latest footage on what just happened, what we just saw. So we'll go ahead and take a look at that.
There's been a marked escalation in this conflict. We are in Ramlet.
Okay, they're already 10 minutes, so let me back up 10 minutes because it's 10:09. So go here. There we go.
It's 0500 GMT. This is Al Jazeera with our continuing coverage of the ongoing conflict between the U.S., Israel, and Iran. I'm Mohammed Jamjoom with all the latest developments. Iraq shuts down oil port operations after 2 foreign oil tankers are attacked in another escalation of the Middle East conflict. Israel's latest strikes on Beirut kill at least 8 people. A prominent seafront neighborhood is targeted. It follows large-scale airstrikes on Beirut's southern suburbs. More than 630 people have been killed by Israeli attacks in Lebanon. Offensive on northern Israel. Hezbollah and Iran carried out a wave of coordinated attacks. And the UN Security Council adopts a resolution condemning Iran's attacks on Gulf countries and Jordan. Iraq has suspended operations at its oil ports after 2 foreign fuel tankers were attacked in the southern port of Al-Fau. It comes as the escalating conflict in the Middle East enters its 13th day. Officials say Iran was behind the strike. At least 1 crew member was killed, while another 25 were rescued. And in Lebanon, at least 8 people have been killed in an Israeli attack on a popular beachfront district in Beirut. More than 30 people were injured in the strike on Ramlet al-Bayda. The Lebanese capital has been under another night of heavy Israeli bombardment. 600 people have been killed and thousands displaced since hostilities resumed between Hezbollah and Israel 11 days ago. Earlier, Israel was the target of a coordinated attack by Hezbollah and Iran. Tehran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps confirmed it was the first joint attack since the start of the war on Iran.
Joint attack.
Across Israel, strikes and interceptions were reported.
They're still coordinating with Hezbollah. There's communication still going on.
Iran has been targeting fuel storage facilities as the conflict in the Middle East enters its 13th day, sending Brent crude oil prices up to $100 a barrel. As we mentioned, Iraq suspended operations at its oil ports after 2 foreign fuel tankers were hit in the southern port of Al-Fau. At least 1 crew member was killed, while another 25 were rescued. Multiple drones struck fuel storage tanks at the port of Salalah in Amman. The strike triggered explosions and towering flames. Salala's port is an important hub for tankers seeking to bypass the Strait of Hormuz. And a Thai vessel was hit
that-
by
that-
a projectile
that attack
while
on
transiting
Oman.
the Strait of Hormuz on Wednesday. The UK Maritime Trade Operations Center said a fire broke out on board. 20 crew members have been rescued following the attack. Mahmoud Abdul Wahid has more from Baghdad.
Huge explosion because these two tankers were hit by an explosive laden boat. Iraqi officials have been cited by news agencies saying that it's an Iranian explosive laden boat. These two tankers were full of crude oil from the Iraqi port of Qasr in southern Iraq, and they're sailing on their way across the Gulf towards the Strait of Hormuz. This comes, of course, as you know, after Iran has been threatening to target oil tankers approaching the Strait of Hormuz. But Iraqi officials say this is a flagrant violation of Iraq's sovereignty, given the fact that this act of, as they say, act of sabotage has happened in Iraq's territorial water. And the SOMO is the national oil firm here in Iraq, says that such attacks threaten the safety, the maritime safety, and also it's affecting Iraq's economy and oil production. As you know, that as a result of this, the oil operations have been halted in southern Iraq, and also this is a huge blow to the Iraq's economy, which is already overstretched. As you know, that Iraq relies on about more than 90% of its budget from oil revenues, and it has decreased its oil production from 3,300,000 barrels a day to 1 million barrels a day.
U.S. and Israeli strikes on Iran have continued overnight. So let's get more now from Tawhid Asadi, who joins us live from the Iranian capital, Tehran. Tawhid, let me ask you first to please just bring us up to speed with all the latest on the attacks that the U.S. and Israel have been conducting on Iran.
Well, let me just begin not with the latest, but something that happened on Saturday night, and it was the explosions that happened in the oil facilities across the Iranian capital, including in southern parts of the capital. The reason I'm just raising it is the very fact that right now you can see this black cloud, which is the result of the thick smoke drifting through the air, and now we've got different reports about the contamination of the air that people are right now breathing, as well as contaminations of soil and water, which could put a long-time impact on the very ordinary citizens who have...
See, this is the bullshit. Now they're gonna claim environmental... look at what they're doing. They're destroying the water. They're destroying the fish. Oh my God. But nobody was screaming civil rights for all the people that they were just, executing, and the 30,000 people they killed in 7-10 days. Nobody was saying shit about that. Like they can do all this evil shit to their people, but when they get the dick in the ass later on, they want to cry and scream, environmental, look what you're doing. Shut the fuck up, Iran.
Been living in this city, in the capital, and for our viewers, we are talking about Tehran province, in which roughly 14 million people have been living. Part of that have decided to evacuate the city following the initiation of the strikes, but still another considerable proportion of the population in the capital have decided to stay. And then speaking of the latest, we know that last night we heard, and I personally heard actually sounds related to the activation of the air defense system in the Iranian capital, as well as the active presence of drones across the skies of the Iranian capital. Meanwhile, we've got reports of explosion from different cities beyond the capital, from, I can say, an industrial complex in southern parts of the capital, as well as Isfahan, Kashan, Ahvaz, and Saturday.
Try to hit us back. Have you been briefed about how many Iran sleeper cells there could be inside the U.S. right now?
I have been, and a lot of people came in through Biden with this stupid open border. But we know where most of them are. We've got our eye on all of them, I think.
If it doesn't, concerning point, which is related to the death toll, we know that more than 1,300 people have been killed. Even though seeing the continuous nature of these strikes, we can unfortunately say that there is a risk potentiality for the number to grow even up. So they are dealing with a tough situation for ordinary citizens, as this is not just the police stations, the military headquarters or state buildings, but also residential areas such as the schools and hospitals being targeted. On the other hand, we've got the Iranian army side, the IRGC in particular, talking about their retaliatory actions, and now the situation seems to be anywhere close to de-escalation, as they talked about the 40th wave of their retaliatory strikes. And meanwhile, we've got a security official in Iran who told Al Jazeera.
Alright, so there's no real huge update. I mean, it's not going away anytime soon. Have you guys ever seen all the nuclear explosions? Time lapse. First one. The first atomic, I believe it was that the Trinity, was it the Trinity was the first explosion? The first nuclear test, I believe. 1945. August. The second one in August. And then the map moved down to, where is that? I can't make heads or tails. I guess that's another island or something that we did another test on. Yeah. Oh, that's the two we used on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. I'm sorry. So we did the forgive me. We did the first test, and then the two we dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Forgive me. I apologize. My bad. So that's 5, right? We got 5. All of them by the U.S. by 1947. Nuclear bomb testing. Because after the first two dropped in 45 on Japan and Nagasaki and Hiroshima, they've never been a nuclear weapon used on anyone for any reason. All these are tests. These are all tests. Now China has entered with theirs in 1949. China has entered the chat. Excuse me, I take that back. That is the USSR. That is the USSR, which is known as the Soviet Union at the time, which is known today as Russia. And now we got the United States coming in with 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and a quick 1951. And I can't even keep up now. We got 3 from what I'll call today Russia. US up to 32. Great Britain has entered the chat. Looks like they did a test down in northern Australia. The year is 1953, 45 for the United States. Oh, that was a big month for the Soviet Union, Russia. They're now up to 8. Will they break double digits soon? Oh my god, 55 was a busy freaking month or year. Oh, we already passed 6-7 for the United States. So far we only have Great Britain, Russia, which is the Soviet Union back then, and the United States of America. The United States of America just broke 100 in 1957. So far we have a total of 220, 30, oh my gosh. 300! We are at 300 total. The year is 1959. 300 total. We haven't even been to space yet, I don't think, right? France has entered the chat. Welcome, France. As they did their test in Africa. Nice. Nice touch there, France. More in Africa by France. 3. 4 in Africa by France. Oh, and Russia just went crazy. We've just surpassed 400, and we're about to hit 450, and we're already, as I speak, past 500. 552. The year is 1963. 600. 600 total. 1964. 4 countries. Great Britain, 23. France, 11. Russia, 228. With the United States at 380. You know, Russia's catching up. So far, we only have 4 countries, and it's what? When did we start? 1945, something like that, I believe. And we're in 1968 with a total of 878 total. 4 countries only in the chat. 4 of them with the only nuclear capability. Great Britain with 26. Tied with France currently in the year 1968 with another 26 score. Not even breaking 30. With Russia, the USSR at 280. And Big Papi, United States, blowing the fuck out of the desert. You know, all those tests were done out there in the desert when... And they did a movie. They did a movie out there. John Wayne did a movie. And he played Genghis Khan in the movie. And majority of his cast died from cancer due to the set. The environment that they were in. Can you believe that? France passed up Great Britain. I paused it right at the right time. They're up to 31 now. Quickly. I'm in the chat. Let's go. I'm going to pause it right there. In the chat, we got 4 countries. Oh, you know what? I didn't even notice at the bottom there. Man, China's got 11. Oh snap! Hold on. Let me back this up. Let me back this up. So China's got 11. Check that out. Let me try to get. I'm getting backed in the corner. China's got 11. China's in the chat. Okay, right there. All right, you ready? China's got 11. When did China get 11? Let's go back. Let's go back. Oh, here we go. Right here. 1964. 1964, China came into the chat. 1964 with 1. So we have 5 countries now with nuclear capabilities. I was gonna ask what country do you think next is gonna enter, but it's China. Besides China, now you can't say China. What's gonna be the next country to enter? Who is it? Who do you think? We're missing a few, right? The Pakistan, India. Of course, Israel's not on here because they don't have nuclear weapons. Wink, wink. Oh, I can't even remember at the top of my head who are the big players in there. I can't remember. We're just gonna have to go on this together. We got some more breaking news. I'll work on the news right now. We're over 900. What year was it? 1969? Yeah, 1969. We're gonna break 1,000. 1,000 nuclear blasts by 1969. Oh, as we went into 1970, we hit 1,000. So you know who really chilled out was Great Britain. They're at 26. Remember they had 25 for a while with France? They've only moved up to 26. They've chilled out. Oh, India's in the chat with 1. The Dundee's blocking it. Oh, my big ass. The Dundee was blocking it. India with the 1. That means Pakistan's soon behind. The reason why India has nuclear weapons and because Pakistan and India, thank Britain, thank Great Britain for that again. Thank Great Britain for the Indian-Pakistan situation. Thank Great Britain for the Iran situation. Thank Great Britain for a lot. If you want me to get into that Great Britain and oil with Iran, they got mad. We had to get involved. Here we are. Pakistan's really soon, really the next player in the game. We're already over 1,500. About to hit 1,600. 1,600. Oh, look at Britain. Great Britain has picked it up with 38, with France at 147. Russia's still behind by a little bit less than 300. Will the United States pass 1,000? We're at 957. Going into 1989 and 1,000. 1989, the United States has said 1,000 nuclear blasts. That's 3. That's 1 test, 2 actual. 997 tests. Well, count the first test. Crazy. And now we're in the 90s with that funky haircut and those crazy kids on the 90210. France has passed 200. Remember, we're in 1992 and Pakistan still doesn't have a nuclear weapon. We all had the ability to stop Pakistan. We're at 2,035 nuclear blasts total. 2,335. Pakistan still has to enter the chat. Just added another article of the video we watched of the Thai crew looking at their ship go up in flames. It's 1996. But we're still going. 1997. Pakistan, 1998 has entered the chat. Bottom left corner with 2 off the rip. So since Pakistan has got 2, that must mean Pakistan or India is about to pick it up, don't you think? What just happened? 1945 to 1998, Pakistan with 2. India with their 4. Oh, that's when it stopped. So here we go. Here goes a recap of individual countries. There's China with their 45. Most of them, and it has their little blotch, white little mark of where their main areas were affected. Then you got France. France, see how France did a lot in the ocean out there? A lot of them in North Africa. Then you got Great Britain. Great Britain did a lot in Australia, a lot in the Pacific. You see where their blotches are? It looks like we let them use a lot of the land in Nevada. And here we go. Here's Russia. A lot of theirs are in their own land in the northern Arctic area too. Do you see that? Look at that. What's that heat map gonna look like? Here it is. Wow. Wait till you see the United States of America. Look at that. Isn't that something? That's all of them combined right there. All of them combined. 2053. 2053 nuclear blasts. All the white marks you see are the impact areas. crazy. Nuclear blast. Shubham Statula. I can't read your name. I'm sorry. I went to Madeira High. Those are all nuclear blasts of the results of all the 2053 worldwide combined. We're not even talking about the Israeli ones. I'm sure they did it in Nevada. The 7 known nuclear powers. You want me to run it back? Crazy. Let's get back to the episode.
There's a certain amount of authenticity. There's a certain amount of like a legitimate connection between you and whatever you're talking about that it doesn't get through to the people. Like if I talk to someone, I'm only talking to them because I want to. Then I have a lot of people on that are not even remotely popular or famous, but I think they wrote an interesting book, or I think they're involved in interesting research, or I think they've got a weird opinion on something and I want to talk to them about, or they have had a strange life, or they were an undercover cop, or whatever it is. I'm just interested.
Right.
And I think that if you abandon that and only focus on, ooh, this person is famous, or this person's in the news, or this is going to get a lot of views, you don't care as much about the conversation you're having, and the people know. So like the person listening and watching, they can feel it.
No, I agree with that, but I also think you could probably get a lot of clicks by saying, I don't know, Erica Kirk killed Charlie Kirk.
You want to watch that video again, that nuclear blast video? We can watch it again. It's 14 minutes long. Just sitting back smoking weed. Nah. Alright. What we're doing is I'm doing a test. I don't know how to run streams and all that, so I'm just figuring it out. I'm just sitting back watching this episode, trying to figure out how to run shit. I don't know what I'm doing. If you want to talk, we can talk.
Right. You could do that too, but you're also you're playing a weird game where you got to continually go deeper and deeper and deeper. And now Erica Kirk's a man. You know what I'm saying?
That's probably next.
Has that already happened? That's probably already happened. Someone's probably already floated that one out there.
Yeah. And you saying over time that you run out of road.
You're playing the wrong game.
Yeah.
You're playing a very similar game to the game that like TMZ is playing, or any of these other like things where you can get a lot of traction, you can get a lot of views, but no one thinks you're being authentic. No one, like if you have a take on world events and we're incredibly sorry for the loss of this person, like you don't really care, and they know you don't really care, so they know there's no sincerity, they know you're not really connected to it. And so in this weird age that we're living in where you're not sure what's real, at the very least, you want the person who's talking to be talking about something in an honest way.
Right.
And connecting with people in an honest way. Because that's what we're missing. And that might be the only thing we have left. Once this AI shit goes live, like it's probably not even going to be podcasts. It's probably going to be public speaking. You're going to have to like talk to people in groups. And we're going to all have to like...
What he's saying is like, it's not going to... it's not going to be. It's eventually going to be to where we're going to have to speak in public, and you're going to have to be able to speak to a few amount of people, because you can't broadcast something on TV anymore, because people who aren't there physically watching the speaker, who have to watch it on TV, no one's going to know what they're seeing on TV is real anymore. So that's what he's saying. It's like all these deep fakes and everything's going to start to turn into decentralized government, as I think.
Ideas out together, because I don't think you're going to be able to know when you're communicating online what's real and what's not real.
Yeah.
We're already in the fog. We haven't hit the fucking full hailstorm of bullshit that's coming our way.
Yeah, but I agree with you, Joe, and I agree if you want something that is sustainable, if you want something that is nourishing, if you want to create content that people engage with that is honest. But I think there's a lot of people out there who are just looking at it in a very cynical way, and they're optimizing it for clicks, attention, and monetary gain.
Yeah.
And if you want to create a business that can make money, and that doesn't require a lot of lift, we all know what you can do.
That's the Eagle song, "Dirty Laundry."
Yeah.
You know, they've always been doing it.
Real.
It's real?
Jamie's still on this.
It doesn't do all the jumping and shit.
Thank you.
It's from CES. I didn't find real what this is.
Okay, that looks way more real. So the videos we were watching were bullshit.
So this went viral a while ago. They had to come out and make other videos. Oh, this is a different one. To say that.
Oh my god, that's so iRobot.
I know they had that so
lined up military style.
There's a few different companies in China that have gone viral for posting videos that people in America think are fake, and that's why I had to go to CES and find somebody else, because they put out more content that doesn't necessarily look fake, but it doesn't look better.
Well, that doesn't look fake.
Yeah, this does not look fake, because this is people on the floor at CES.
Right, but look how much more awkward its movements are.
But they put out a video where the thing is kicking the CEO. Yeah, it almost looks real, but it's not. It's tough. I'd like to see what else comes of it.
Is it funky lighting again?
Not that. It's
fuck out of here.
It's when they're in the room.
Okay.
Get the fuck out of here.
Okay, so he's gonna go ahead. Okay, that looks much more real. Much more awkward.
Jesus.
But that looks fake.
I tell you what, I would not do that if
No, that looks real to me.
Stand in front of a hunk of metal is going to kick you.
The problem is it's slow motion. Let me see it again. In fact, did they show it in real speed?
It's just this weird clip of it, which is kind of strange. But
let me see it again. Taking the first kick.
Oh,
that looks real.
The only thing I would say is it's not jumping up and doing spin kicks, but it's doing some.
Right.
Why the fuck would it?
Well, that would be what I would teach it. First of all, I wouldn't teach it to do the spin kicks. I'd teach it to do like a stepping front kick like that.
That's the shit they were showing that people had problems with, like we just did. But
Yeah.
The robots are doing crazy stuff.
Well, they definitely can do crazy stuff. There was that one demonstration they did in China. I think you've seen that once.
It's bouncing around, like in a fight position here, like he's ready to go.
Checking his legs out. Wow.
What's that one on the
Let me
right?
see some wheel kicks. See, that's the thing.
Why is the one in the corner looking depressed?
That's the older one.
He's been decommissioned. He's right now plotting his strategy for blackmail to get upgraded software.
I don't know. So
Well, so what we're looking at was probably some AI, at least enhancements.
But the problem is they're not saying it. They're not admitting that it is. They're saying it's not. And I go like, it's tough.
Interesting. Well, I would want to see this thing move in a similar way that you're seeing in that video. I mean, that thing shows remarkable agility, where it's jumping up in the air and spinning around. And this thing's not doing that.
No. It's moving very differently, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a stiffness to its movements.
Yeah.
Looks like you at the gym, mate.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It really does.
There was the Chinese demonstration, though. There was a demonstration where these people were on a stage and they were doing martial arts, and the robots came out. The robots did martial arts. That looked real.
Right.
That looked real. But it didn't.
Here's the other video we sort of saw.
Oh, this is crazy.
Oh my god.
This is crazy. That's where they reload.
And these are real, right?
I think, this is a different video they had to post because people didn't think these were real.
That looks real.
They look like they're unsullied.
So,
from Game of Thrones.
What are these ones? Who makes these?
I don't know. It doesn't look good though.
That marching sound is not comforting, is it?
No.
It says world's first mass delivery of humanoid robots.
Yeah, you're gonna have cargo ships filled with these headed to America.
Wonderful.
I mean, those are going to be the new police officers.
Yeah. That's not good. This is Terminator. This is the movie. I mean, and if you really were imagining, like you were trying to warn people of an apocalypse, and you told it through stories for generation after generation, and then eventually people write down their versions of this story, and then it goes to 2026 where this stuff is actually happening. Maybe this is what they were warning us about.
Yeah, do you remember in the 80s and the 90s and the early noughties, there was this run of great movies talking about how the robots are going to take over?
Sci-fi books as well. I mean, Isaac Asimov stuff was amazing.
Yeah. Philip K. Dick, you know,
Philip K.
Do
Dick.
Android Stream of Electric Sheep, which then became Blade Runner. All of these. And then no one's making those movies now, are they?
No, too close to home. I guess iRobot was probably the last one. Right?
Yeah, which was iRobot, which was the one with Tom Cruise, Minority Report, which was based on a Philip K. Dick. But nobody's making them anymore because everyone's like, dude, I know this is going to happen.
Right.
I don't need to see this.
Well, they're also talking about using AI to predict people's behavior. So they're talking about future crime.
Minority Report.
Yeah. So they've literally talked about one of the ways that AI can be implemented. You look at someone's history, you look at someone's behavior patterns, look at what they're doing now, and you predict, oh, this person's been radicalized, they're about to do X.
Yeah, and they're
about to tweet something.
About to drop a new Facebook post. About the regime is not.
Picks up his phone.
The regime is still intact. Intelligence is saying there is no stopping this regime. There is no end to this war going into the 13th day.
I think people were outraged by that because it's so outrageous. You meet that guy at the airport and arrest him. That was right after he did this podcast, by the way.
Yeah. I remember. That's a moment, even when I was talking to comedians who were actually woke, they were like, you can't do this.
The thing is, he didn't even do it in England. So you're arresting someone who's not a citizen of the United Kingdom for a crime, I mean, if we accept that framing, that they didn't even commit in the country.
Right. Yeah. It's pretty kooky that they went with it.
Yeah. And I know the reason is because every police officer in airports in the UK have guns. But it's a really bad look. Like there's 5 armed police officers arresting a comedy writer.
Yeah.
I bet you they felt bad doing it as well, because it's not them that's making up these dumb
Oh, I'm sure.
Nobody signs up to like arrest comedy writers.
Right.
In airports. I don't think that's why the police do it, but the rules have just got such...
Well, you see it in the humiliation that a lot of these police officers face when they have to arrest someone for a Facebook post.
Right.
Which you could see, like, they're not happy. Right. And when people are protesting and yelling, are you fucking serious? And they're like, I'm just doing my job.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And that's a large part of the problem. We get former police officers on the show, and we got a lot of cops and former cops who watch the show. And they talk to us about the state that the British police force is in, and it's demoralisation.
Yeah.
Yeah, the rank and file don't want any of this shit.
Well, same in America. A lot of, especially major blue cities, where just a few years ago they were running with that defund the police bullshit. And then things obviously went sideways, and most of them sort of course corrected for the most part, except in narrative. It's not like public massive support for the police officers because they keep society together. Like in Austin,
we're gonna wrap it up here. We don't have a big following right now, and I need to get used to this app. I just recently got it. It's literally, we're coming in the 2-hour mark right now. I've signed up for the $99 a month trial. It's a 14-day trial. It's $99 a month after that. There's also a $64 plan, but I'm seeming to like it. Like, you can hit this thank you for watching, you can do all kinds of things with it, but I just got it. So thank you for watching. We're gonna get better. Any veterans out there that want to sit here and talk shit, I'm trying to set something up. We're gonna do something. You guys can talk shit about me, talk shit about you. As soon as I get banter and you know, I'm really good at talking shit once I have someone to talk to. All right. A lot of the times I'm understanding stuff going through with what's happening in front of me through my mind, so I really don't have, you know, a lot of open discussion, because then I feel like I'm going crazy if I'm speaking out loud. But if I'm speaking this way, I'm able to talk to you guys. My kids later on in life can look at these videos and see their dad, or listen to their dad. Maybe eventually we'll get on camera. So I'm just leaving something down now, getting started. If you're gonna be anywhere, I appreciate you being here. And if you want to see me grow, then stay with us and share, and I appreciate it.